Okay, so if you're a serious gamer, you definitely know the feeling. You're endlessly scrolling, you're watching review after review, all just to find that one perfect gaming mouse. It's a lot. It can feel totally overwhelming, but honestly, it's one of the most important decisions you'll make for your entire setup. So yeah, let's get into it.
Right? I mean, that's the million-dollar question. We're always hearing about the best mouse or the meta choice that's supposedly going to unlock your hidden potential. But is that even real? We're about to break down all of it, the data, the tech, the community chatter, to see if we can find an answer.
And look, this is why it matters so much. Think about a game like Valorant or CS2. The difference between winning and losing a duel, it literally comes down to a single pixel, a tiny flick of your wrist. Your mouse is the direct line between your brain and your aim. It's not just some tool, it's the weapon you're taking into every single fight. So where do we even begin this quest? Well, the most logical place to start is with the people who do this for a living. By really looking at what the top esports pros are using, we can get an amazing snapshot of what actually works at the highest possible level of competition.
And we're not just talking about a small random sample here. This data is pulled from a really deep dive into the gear of 856 professional players. That gives us a super solid, data-backed foundation for understanding what the current mouse landscape really looks like.
All right, so when you look at the brands, a couple of things just jump right out. Logitech and Razer. I mean, together they make up 75% of the entire pro scene. That's a staggering number. But take a closer look at that other slice. It might seem small, but it represents this growing wave of awesome challenger brands. Think Lamzu, Pulsar, Endgame Gear, that are really starting to make a name for themselves.
And when we zoom in on the specific models, the picture gets even sharper. Logitech's G Pro X Superlight 2 is, without a doubt, the undisputed king. Over 200 of the pros we looked at are using it, but Razer isn't going down without a fight. Their Viper and Death Adder models snatch up the next two spots. These three mice right here, they're the absolute titans of the pro scene right now. Okay, so we know what the pros are using. The really big question is, why? To get that, we have to go beyond just the brand names and start decoding the tech specs that actually change how a mouse feels and performs when you're in the game.
Let's kick things off with the number you see everywhere, CPI, which you probably know as DPI. Now, here's the most important thing to remember. Higher CPI is not better, it's just sensitivity. A lot of pros actually use surprisingly low settings like 400 or 800 CPI because it lets them use their whole arm for more precise, stable movements. It's all about finding the sensitivity that gives you the most control.
Now, this is a cool one. Think of polling rate as the refresh rate for your aim. A standard mouse checks in with your PC 1,000 times a second. That's 1,000 hertz. With these newer high-end mice, they can do 4,000, even 8,000 hertz. What that means is the delay between you moving your hand and your crosshair moving on screen gets ridiculously small. For an elite player, that tiny fraction of a second can be everything.
Okay, under the main buttons you have switches, and there are basically two flavors. Mechanical switches are the classic style, but because they use little metal contacts that can wear out over time and cause that dreaded double clicking issue. Optical switches, on the other hand, use a beam of light to register a click. This makes them way faster, way more durable, and completely immune to those physical wear and tear problems.
Another massive factor is weight. Lately, there's been this huge race to make mice as light as humanly possible. These ultralight mice, often under 60 grams, make quick, snappy movements feel totally effortless. And yeah, some people still like the solid, stable feel of a heavier mouse, like the classic G502, but the pro scene has overwhelmingly voted for these featherlight designs to reduce fatigue and just be faster.
Pro stats and tech specs, they're super important, but they just don't tell the whole story. To get the full picture, you have to listen to the real-world experiences from everyday gamers. You know, what are the actual debates and conversations happening on forums and Reddit?
Here's a perfect example of that. This user basically says that if the shape of the Death Adder V3 Pro fits your hand, you're done. It's endgame. This is a feeling you see all the time. When the shape is right, everything else just clicks into place. But for every comment like that, you'll find a counterpoint. This user, on the exact same mouse, is complaining about a dead scroll wheel, and it's a common complaint. This just goes to show a really important truth. Even the most popular, most expensive mice can have quality control problems. Durability is a huge part of the real-world conversation. And this right here is where those challenger brands we talked about really shine. This user is talking about switching from one smaller brand to another, Lamzu to
reviewed a WL mouse and just being blown away by the quality. It shows that the market is changing, and these smaller, enthusiast-focused companies are now making mice that can seriously compete with the big guys.
Okay, we've looked at the pros, we've broken down the tech, and we've listened to the community. Now it's time to put it all together. How do you take all of this info and actually use it? Let's build a simple, practical guide to help you find your perfect mouse.
So let's break this down into a simple 3-step framework. First, and honestly, this is the most important step, figure out your grip style. Are you a palm, claw, or fingertip gripper? That alone is going to narrow down the best shape for you. Second, think about the games you play most. If you're an FPS player, you'll probably want something light and nimble. If you're a MOBA or MMO player, maybe those extra side buttons are more important. And finally, think about your hand size. You wouldn't wear shoes that don't fit, right? Same thing here. A lot of top mice now come in different sizes, so you can find a perfect fit.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Let's boil it down. Number 1, the idea of a single best mouse is, well, it's a myth. It doesn't exist. 2, pro usage is great for seeing trends, but it shouldn't be a rule book for you. 3, if you understand the key tech, like polling rate and weight, you can see right through the marketing nonsense. And finally, the most important factor of all is personal comfort. Your grip style and your hand size are key.
And that kind of brings us full circle back to our first question. Maybe the perfect mouse isn't a thing you can just go out and buy. With tech like AK polling getting more common and all these cool new brands popping up, maybe finding the perfect mouse isn't a destination you arrive at. Maybe it's just a really fun, never-ending quest. What do you guys think?